craft room. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make these adorable little boxes. This one I'm using for Halloween, but of course you can decorate it for any type of holiday or purpose that you'd like. So let's get started. We're going to begin with a 6" by 6" piece of designer series paper, and I happen to be using the Typeset Specialty Designer Series paper, but of course you can do this with any different design that you'd like. What's nice about this project is that you can get 4 boxes out of one 12 by 12 sheet of designer series paper. And we're going to be using our envelope punch board for this project. So I'm just going to take out the bone folder that comes with it. So we're just going to take our designer series paper and line it up here at the 2" mark, and we're going to punch and we're going to score. And then we're just going to slide it over to the 4" mark here, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So we're going to punch and we're going to score. And now I'm going to turn counterclockwise once, just that 90-degree turn. And once again, we're going to line it up at the 2" mark, and we're going to punch and score. And you can check here one of 2 ways. Sometimes when you cut down a piece of 12 by 12 designer series paper, the measurement isn't exactly 12 by 12. So rather than just relying on this 2" mark here, what I do is just look at this score guide and line it up with the score line. And that way I feel like I have a good measurement. So you're just going to punch and score, and then we're going to move over again to the 4" mark. And again, I'm just lining up my score line with the score guide and punch and score. And now we're going to turn it yet again. Oops, I didn't get a complete punch there. Get that off. And so again, lining it up at the 2" mark and making sure your score line is lined up. And we're going to punch and score and over to the 4" mark. And we're going to punch and score. And last time around, going to line up again at the 2" mark and punch and score. And then moving it over to the 4" mark, punch and score. So you should have a piece that looks like this. And so you've got 4 sharp corners. So we're just going to use the reverse punch here to make our rounded corners. And it does a really nice job of rounding those corners. So now we have this piece, and the next thing that we need to do is to create some holes here on these ends. And I'm just going to use my crocodile to punch these holes. You could use a 1/4" or probably even an 1/8" hole punch for this, but you just want to punch a hole in each of these 4 corners. And now that we've gotten our holes punched, we want to go ahead and fold along all of our score lines. It's a little bit difficult to see with this paper since the paper has so many lines going on, but just folding in along all of the score lines that you created. We're going to do just a little bit of cutting. So you just want to take 2 opposite ends here. You can choose these or these, and we're just going to cut in to this score line on both sides. So just cutting along the score line right up to that next score line. And again, you're doing it, in my case, the bottom, and then I'm going to turn it all the way around to the top. So just on 2 opposite ends of your designer series paper. And what that does is it creates these flaps so that when we go to construct our little box, those flaps come in like so, and everything else goes up. So I want to glue this, so what I'm going to do is just fold those little flaps in, and I'm just going to use some Tombow multi-glue to just adhere these little tabs down So just putting some glue on them, bringing it up, and holding to it here. And this Specialty Designer Series paper is a little bit thinner than the regular Designer Series paper, but it will work fine for these boxes, as long as you don't put something really heavy into your box. And then I'm going to do this same thing here on this side, a little bit of glue on both of my tabs, and then folding them up and in to create my box. So now we've got our cute little box, and if you wanted to just close this traditionally, you wouldn't have to make these little holes. You could just fold up this little box like this and close it with some glue or something, but we're gonna close it just a little bit differently. So I'm gonna add a little bit of candy into my box, and I'm gonna put a couple of Reese's in here for Halloween, and I like the orange with the black. So now I'm going to take a piece of baker's twine, and this piece looks like it's about 14 inches long, and this is the thick baked brown sugar twine. And what I'm going to do, if you're holding your twine on top of your box, I'm going to take my ends and come in these two holes. So going from the outside to the inside, and this one also from the outside to the inside. And I'm going to pull. And now I'm going to take one of those, and I'm going to go from the inside to the outside on this side. And then I'm going to go from the inside to the outside on this side. And then I'm going to gently pull that together, and that's going to bring my pieces together. And then I'm just going to gently tie this, and you can play around with your paper a little bit. So this paper is really thin, so it's wanting to kind of indent a little bit on me, but you can play with that a little bit. So I'm just going to tie a knot here right at the top. Just like so, and then I can kind of push that paper out like that. And now I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So hopefully you can see, that one needs to be pushed out a little bit. There we go. So hopefully you can see the little tent top that we've kind of created for our box. And now we need to do just a little bit of stamping. So I'm going to come in with this stamp, this Good to the Last Bite stamp. And this is from the Merry Everything stamp set. And we're going to use some Elegant Eggplant ink. So I'm just going to ink that up with some Elegant Eggplant ink. And we'll stamp that. And then I'm just going to punch that out using this tag note punch. And then I'm just going to take a little office punch that I have. This is an 1/8 inch little punch, just to punch a hole in the top of that little tag. And then we're going to bring in a 2 inch by 1/2 inch piece of pumpkin pie cardstock. And I'm going to bring in this little Happy Halloween from the Holiday Home stamp set. And we're going to use our Elegant Eggplant again. And I'm just going to stamp this a little bit down to the left here of this little piece. And I'm just going to use my scissors to cut a little banner end. So I'm just snipping in the middle and then snipping in from each of the corners to cut a tiny little banner end. And I'm also going to use my little hole punch to punch a little hole here on this end. And then I'm just going to take a sponge, and we're just going to do a tiny bit of sponging with our Elegant Eggplant ink around the edge here, just to grunge it up a bit. And as a matter of fact, I may do that here on this piece as well. And now we're ready to attach these to our box. So I'm just going to take one of our ends of our baker's twine and I'm threading it through from the back to the front and pulling that through. And then I'm going to do the same here on this side, so from the back to the front. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie those. And then I'm just going to tie a little bow here. And then trim the ends of our baker's twine. So there you have it, a really fun and easy little box created out of a 6 by 6 inch piece of paper. I hope you've enjoyed this project and I look forward to seeing you again very soon here in the craft room.